Hello everyone. We are going to analyze the third canto of Ode to the West Wind by P.B. Shelley. Shelley begins the third canto by addressing the west wind. He writes, "Thou who didst waken from his summer dreams, the blue Mediterranean." He tells the west wind that you have awakened the Mediterranean Sea from his summer dreams. He says that the Mediterranean Sea was sleeping in the summer and dreaming, and the west wind has awakened it. The blue Mediterranean, where he lay lulled by the coil of his crystalline streams. Coil here means murmur, though generally coil means a loud noise or tumult. So there is a suggestion by the word coil. That suggestion is of the wavy movement of the waters. Lulled by the coil of his crystalline streams. Crystalline streams means transparent currents of water. The coil, the murmuring sound of the transparent currents of the Mediterranean Sea act as a lullaby which makes the Mediterranean Ocean sleep and dream, and he is awakened by the west wind. Beside a pumice isle in Bay's Bay, the Mediterranean Ocean is sleeping near a pumice island. Pumice is a type of lava. It is near the Bay's Bay. The Bay's Bay lies northwest of the Bay of Naples. Bayeux was also a fashionable resort of the Romans in ancient times. Beside a pumice isle in Bay's Bay, and saw in sleep old palaces and towers, quivering within the waves' intenser day. Shelley writes that the Mediterranean Ocean saw in his sleep old palaces and towers. These palaces and towers once stood majestically on the shore, but now they have been drowned, and he sees them quivering, shaking within the waves' intenser day. Intenser day stands for the bright reflections of the water, the bright reflection of the sun on the waters. When the waves begin in the ocean, the palaces and towers appear to be quivering or shaking. Intenser day stands for brighter light. Shelley here refers to the many partly submerged foundations of palaces and towers by the side of the bay. These seem to quiver in the movement and brilliance of the sunlit water, all overgrown with azure, moss and flowers. All these are overgrown with blue mosses and flowers. He says that these flowers and mosses are so sweet that the sense faints picturing them. Even when we are picturing these mosses and flowers, we faint because they are so beautiful and we can smell them. Thou for those for whose path the Atlantic's level parts cleave themselves into chasms. Thou, he addresses the west wind and says that you for whose path, to make a path for you, the Atlantic's level parts. the smooth waters of the Atlantic Ocean cleave themselves, divide themselves into chasms or deep fissures so that the west wind can flow through it, while far below the sea blooms and the oozy woods, which were the sapless foliage of the ocean. He says that the sea blooms or the vegetation which is below the ocean and the oozy woods, the woods or plants from which water comes out, which were the sapless foliage of the ocean and which have the sapless foliage, flowers and leaves of the ocean are not filled with sap or liquid because there is no shortage of water in the ocean. This foliage, this vegetation of the below the ocean knows knows the voice of the west wind. So as soon as they hear that the west wind is coming, the sound of the west wind or the noise made by the west wind, they suddenly grow grey with fear. They grow grey with fear of the west wind and tremble, and they start trembling out of fear and despoil themselves. They are so much afraid that they shed their leaves. Oh, here again he calls the west wind. He says that, oh, here, oh, listen to me, you west wind. Thus Shelley says that the west wind stirs the Mediterranean from his summer dreams and also cleaves the Atlantic Ocean into choppy chasms, making the sapless foliage of the ocean tremble with fear. And for a third time, he implores the west wind to listen to him. Shelley had said that the wind over the Mediterranean Sea was an inspiration for the poem. Recognizing the power of the west wind, the wind becomes a metaphor for nature's awe-inspiring spirit by Shelley. So, in this third canto, Shelley shows the action of the west wind on water. It awakens the blue Mediterranean from its long sleep or inaction, where it is dreaming about the ruined palaces and towers which are submerged in water. And he says, once they stood majestically on its shores. On these ruins, the marine vegetation, mosses and plants with flowers are now growing. The west wind also blows over the Atlantic in such a manner, a rebelling spirit, that the rising waves give way to this mighty west wind, and the vegetation on the bottom of the ocean trembles with fear and is uprooted. Shelley wishes to convey the idea that the turmoil in the ocean is representative of a revolution which is going on or which is indeed afoot in Europe. Shelley wishes to convey that the fear expressed by the powers of the ocean are in fact a representative of the fear felt by Earth's great and mighty, who will, out of fear, grow grey, like the plants in the ocean, the vegetation in the ocean, when the catastrophic change will finally come. In the first and second stanza too, Shelley had personified the west wind. Here in the third canto, he has personified the Mediterranean Sea too. In the first canto, he had expressed the destructive and constructive aspect of the west wind, and had called it as a destroyer as well as a preserver. In the second canto, he represented west wind as a destroyer. In the third canto, he has represented the power of the west wind, that how the ocean too trembles when the west wind blows. He gives the sea's reaction to the power of the west wind. At the first sight of the strong wind, the sea seems to cleave or divide into chasms, and the plantation within the ocean grows grey with fear. It trembles at the power of the wind. Thank you.